Welcome everyone to another edition of Willow's Weather Briefing. Today is Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Our main story today, a moderate risk of excessive rainfall for portions of southeast Texas that includes cities like Houston and Victoria. We also have some scattered thunderstorms throughout the high plains today, as well as portions of the central to northern plains to Midwest regions, as well as some portions of the Northeast. Other than that, right now it's pretty quiet throughout the United States. If you would like a text-based briefing, please refer to the description down below. We have a cluster of thunderstorms and showers moving their way across eastern Texas right now. This is our main driver of that excessive rainfall threat throughout this region. Here is our drought monitor map. The solid lines demarcate the areas of greatest concern with drought. Here's our current watches and warnings, with the exception of the flood watch and slew of flash flood warnings over here in eastern Texas. Pretty quiet across the United States right now, with the exception of some dense fog advisories and a watch for portion southwest. Here is our surface chart today. We have a lingering boundary causing some additional forcing along with that moisture flux from the Gulf of Mexico, allowing us to get some free convection along this area. This rainfall will continue throughout the morning into the early afternoon, but should subside by later into the afternoon. We also have a stalling boundary that will lift northward as the day goes on and bring us another flash flooding threat here in central Minnesota and adjacent states. Here's tomorrow. Again, moisture flux from the Gulf will induce another flash flooding risk here across Arkansas, from ArkLaTex region over towards the lower Mississippi River Valley. A severe thunderstorm risk for much of the high plains, including central Montana down towards the Texas Panhandle, associated with this front that's going to slowly move eastward, as well as the classic diurnal cycle thunderstorms causing those storms to form later in the day. And finally, day 3, another flash flooding threat here in Arkansas towards northern Mississippi due to that continual moisture flux from the Gulf of Mexico. Here is our day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. We have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall from Houston down towards Victoria, Texas. Also a broader slight risk from much of southeastern Texas towards Arkansas and the lower Mississippi River Valley. We do expect the moderate risk area to see up to 5 inches of rain throughout today and tomorrow. Meanwhile, the rest of the slight risk area, especially ArkLaTex and much of Arkansas, to see around 2 to 4 inches of rain these next few days. We also have that slight risk of excessive rainfall up here near central Minnesota. That is mostly relegated to clusters of storms that will first form in the late afternoon, but will continue on overnight, and most of the rainfall will end up falling overnight and from the late evening in these areas. We expect around 1 to 3 inches of rain for this risk up here in Minnesota. Tomorrow, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall here from ArkLaTex to the lower Mississippi River Valley. Rainfall will be mostly again overnight into the late evening, mainly due to that low-level jet response and continued into this area. Most of the rainfall or highest confidence of the greatest totals will be over here in western Arkansas. And again, day 3 excessive rainfall outlook for much of Arkansas into northern Mississippi. This is again relegated to moisture flux mainly in the late afternoon into evening hours. Day 4 and day 5, marginal risks for both the eastern U.S. and northern to central plains, as well as into regions. Here is our fire weather outlook. Elevated fire risk throughout southern Washington and northern Oregon, and also western Nevada. And our day 2 fire weather outlook kind of looks about the same. We already have some ongoing fires over here in southern Washington, northern Oregon, as well as a few here in western Nevada. So watch out for the amplification of these fires as the day goes on. If you live in any um, area that you know is near fires, just make sure you be aware of the spread. Here's our day 1 convective outlook. We have some marginal risks out, not too significant, primarily for damaging wind and large hail. A little bit of a threat for that. Tornado risk is mainly relegated to the areas of eastern Texas towards the lower Mississippi River Valley. But generally, these marginal risks are not terribly concerning. Tomorrow, slight risk of severe thunderstorms from central to southern Montana all the way down towards the Texas Panhandle. This is primarily for a damaging wind risk throughout the area and also a large hail risk. Again, tornado risk is pretty low throughout the entire risk area, primarily for the Panhandle of Nebraska into adjacent states. Day 3 outlook marginal risk throughout the Trans-Pecos region all the way up into the central to northern plains into a bit of southeastern Montana. Again, doesn't really look that robust as of now, but things could change as we get the better modeling in when we get closer to the event. Here is our heat risk. Pretty warm throughout the western U.S. over here, and also portions of the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic. Above average temperatures over there. Not too concerning in terms of a heat risk over here, besides the far southern region of Texas, major heat risk right there associated with temperatures reaching up to 100 degrees, and of course, high dew points being near the Gulf of Mexico. So the real heat doesn't really begin until the weekend, where we'll see an amplification of the ridging that will bring some excessive heat to areas such as Phoenix, Tucson, El Paso, and other areas of southern Arizona into southern New Mexico. We do expect temperatures to reach near 110 degrees in some of these regions, especially the desert regions in southern Arizona. Elsewhere, temperatures will still reach well into the 100 degrees Fahrenheit. By early next week, heat will continue into portions of the southwest, but expand over here as the ridge starts to slowly move east into portions of the central to southern plains and also the southeastern United States. Here are our day 3 through 7 hazards. The only thing that we have of concern is really this excessive heat. It's hazardous heat in southern Arizona to southern New Mexico. Otherwise, some river flooding is a concern for areas that are getting a lot of rainfall in these next few days, but pretty quiet in the extended range, at least right now. Here's our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, June 17th through 21st. Above average for a vast majority of the United States, especially the southeastern regions up towards the mid Atlantic. Only below average over here, it seems, for the Pacific Northwest. Here's our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Above average precipitation for much of the eastern United States, with the exception of portions of the Florida Panhandle, or the Florida Peninsula, sorry, and below average for much of the basin regions to the southwest. Now, looking at our HRF modeling, just to get an idea of our storm coverage and timing. These storms in eastern Texas are ongoing, moving slowly to the east, but will deplete as we get that lack of moisture flux from the Gulf of Mexico, thanks to the depletion of our low-level jet. That will deplete by the early or by the mid-afternoon. Meanwhile, by the mid-afternoon, we'll get our convective precipitation coming up in the high plains and into the small marginal risk in the northeast as well as the northern plains and into Minnesota. As we go Overnight here, the convection will deplete in the plains, but will continue on as we get that continual moisture flux into central Minnesota, and will continue overnight, giving us that excessive rainfall up there. So that is going to be it for today. If you enjoyed the video and would like more weather briefings, please leave a like and subscribe. As always, if you have any constructive criticism, please leave them in the comments below. And if you want any specific information regarding your area, please refer to your local National Weather Service or broadcast meteorologists. Thank you and have a great day.